think about where you enforce security today. So you have different kind of your internal design. Okay, network endpoint, network and endpoint. So these are the environment, your environment. So where you can fit the security. So the questions to everyone: what do you use to protect your network and your endpoints? So this is how you can say, like you have HQ, branch office and roaming, you have antivirus in the system level, and you have all the security devices like a sandbox, proxy, network, next generation firewall to protect your HQ. If you go to the branch office, again you have the antivirus and the endpoint security in your end user devices. Then you have the router or the security device which has the UTM appliance, UTM features. Then it goes to the internet. If the user come out from your premises, so it's only the antivirus. Like say the roaming user, okay, they are not part of your internal networks. Now they are coming out from the network. So all the roaming user also has the antivirus as the endpoint to secure, right? So there are many ways you can do the security, okay. But how the umbrella using the DNS you will define? You can do the first level, first line product. So umbrella can be the first layer of defense against threat by preventing the devices from connecting to the malicious or likely malicious site in the first place. So that's the main thing. When any malicious site the user is trying, automatically the file will get injected and it will get exploited to the end user. So which significantly reduce the chance of malware getting to your network or endpoints, right? So umbrella use DNS as one of the main mechanisms to get traffic to your cloud platform, and then use it to enforce security too. That means it force the security policies to the endpoints. So DNS is a foundational component of how the internet works right now, and it's used by every device in the network. If you go to the firewall, if you go to the proxy, if you go to the endpoint, if you go to the router, everything is needed DNS, right? So way before the malware file is downloaded or before an IP connection over any port or any protocol is even established, there is a DNS request. Without this, there is no way to connect, right? Now let's look at the key feature for umbrella. So now you can understand where you can fit the umbrella. So umbrella will come the first line of defense here. Okay, now we are going to see the key feature. So umbrella provides the enforcement without any delay. That's the one. And umbrella use the DNS to enforce security. But how does this work? Let's see. So when umbrella receives the DNS request, let us say when your environment, the network device is sending the DNS request to the umbrella cloud. Okay, it's first identify which customer the request came from and which policy to apply. So the next umbrella determine if the request is safe or whitelist. Okay, the request or malicious or blacklisted or risky. Okay, so this kind of analyze it will do. And if, for the example, if the request is safe, we route the connection as assured. That means the umbrella will route the connection without blocking. If the request is a malicious request, then we route the connection to the block page. That means you can see the umbrella block page. Okay, this site is malicious site, so you cannot access. The third one for the risky request, we route, the umbrella will route the connection to the umbrella cloud-based proxy for deeper inspection. There is a sandbox. So if it is not available in the umbrella database, then it will send to the sandbox where it will get fine-tune and get the input and do the research analyze for the deeper inspection. Okay. So that's how it works. It's similar like your proxy inspection for all your proxy. Okay. So now coming to the how the OpenDNS and Cisco, we call as the Cisco umbrella. Okay. Again, we need to understand the DNS is used on every network and endpoints that exist in an organization, correct? Even IoT devices. So each and every IoT devices rely on DNS. It does not require deploying a new appliance in the network, right? So it does not require changing WCCP. That means the pack file which is sent by the server to all the endpoints for the DNS request. Or you can manage the pack file on endpoint. You want to redirect the web traffic, and we don't care if the web traffic is encrypted. So it does not require anything. It takes only 30 minutes, okay, minimum 30 minutes to cover a dozen of location and 1,000 of devices to integrate. It is the fastest, easiest way to stop the vast majority of threats trying to infiltrate your system on your data. Okay, so here you can see wherever as a Cisco product, you have the HQ, you have endpoint security, you have WSA, the email security, the firepower, which is AMP, and the next generation firewall. Okay, then if you go to the branch office, you have the endpoint security and ASA with the next generation firewall. If you go to the branch office where you have the Meraki firewall, inside you have the endpoint security. And if you go to the roaming user, that's a laptop which out of your network, then you have the AnyConnect. So all this one is again using the DNS layer. Okay, so this DNS request is coming to the cloud, the umbrella cloud, where you have the malware and phishing and the command and control can monitor. So the benefits is very simple. So it blocks the block malware before it hits the enterprises, and contains malware CC and data exfil. No added latency. So there is no latency. So provision globally in under 30 minutes. That's the maximum what they're saying. Because DNS presides every IP communication, right? So we cut the number of security alerts generated by the rest of the customer security stack in half or more process. Okay. So now the next one, what we are going to see, the deployment. So now we have seen so far what is the DNS, what is the Open DNS, what is a Cisco umbrella, and what kind of key feature it's given. And now we are coming to the deployment, where you can understand in much more clear for this product. So normally, when you go to any environment, okay, the first deployment is the network protection, correct? Where you have the any devices. Okay, doesn't have, if you don't have the DNS server, internal DNS server. So what you rely? So you always put the Google as a DNS server for your endpoint, correct? So this device is coming to your gateway, then it will go. But what in the first level of deployment, the endpoint, the DNS server, instead of Google, you mentioned to the Cisco umbrella DNS servers. So what we have seen earlier, 222 222 and 212.212. These are the two DNS servers which is there in the cloud. So this two DNS server is the Anycast and it's interconnect with the cloud. So you have 13 locations in the cloud. All the places you have the same IP address with the Anycast technology. So there is the high availability is 99.9% so far when they started on 2006. And this is how. So how you can integrate your network devices, the gateway, the public IP, you have to add in the cloud. So whenever the request is coming from the public IP from your gateway, that will consider as your network device. So whatever request is coming, then it will get monitor and filter and do all the analyze in the cloud. Okay, this is network based. The second one, you have internal DNS server. Let us say you have internal DNS server in your environment. So what you can do, your DHCP and DNS server, put the DNS server for your internal devices as umbrella, not to your internal DNS server. Okay, so you always push the DHCP scope with the DNS server to the any devices to the umbrella DNS IP instead of using the local DNS server or the public DNS server like a Google and other DNS server IP. This is simple for location that manage internal domains. So the third one, let us say you have a DNS server which contains the local DNS resolution, like you have internal DNS department and domain. So what you can do, you have the umbrella VA, virtual appliance. Okay, for all your internal devices, the DNS request is going to the umbrella. Umbrella is the DNS server. From the umbrella, for any internal domain, it won't go to the cloud. It will go to your local DNS servers. Here you can see. So whenever any device is try to access your internal domain, it will coming to the umbrella VA virtual appliance. Then it will forward to the local DNS servers. From the local DNS server, the domain name is reachable and it will get resolved with the local IP. If apart from the local DNS server, anything is going to internet, that will go directly to the cloud. Okay, so how this will give more visibility and granular control in the cloud. So everything is based on the deployment model. So you have only, let us say, I'm at home. I have one static IP internet router. I'm sitting. I have 2 to 3 wireless user, and that router IP, it's a dynamic or static, whatever it may be. If it is dynamic, we have to change every time it gets reboot. If it is a static, you add that IP into your umbrella cloud. For that, you need an account, correct? So you can add a number of devices. There is a license part separately. So you can add your network device, the public IP into the cloud. So that umbrella cloud will treat as a network device. So whenever the traffic is coming from this public IP address, it will get monitored in the cloud. So you have all the visibility. So similar like if you go to the enterprises, you have first layer security, second layer security, then you have switches, you have wireless access point, you have all the devices, correct? So the endpoint, when the user is trying to access the internet, again, it's cross all the things coming to the internet gateway, which is your firewall or which could be your internet router. But it has a public IP address. So all the requests is get natted with your public IP address. So that IP address we need to add in the Cisco umbrella cloud as the network identity. So whenever the traffic is coming from this particular public IP address, it's get monitored and do all kind of analysis. So those things in later session I have a demo. I will explain you how that works. Okay.